If you're stuck in a free-falling elevator, most people think that if you jump right before it hits the ground that it would save your life. But is that really true? Look, if an elevator is falling straight down, synchronizing the jump perfectly is pretty much impossible. The best thing you can do is to lie on your back in an X shape to distribute the force of the impact evenly across your whole body.
How to avoid being asked a question in class if you don't know the answer. What you're not going to do is avoid direct eye contact with the teacher. If you look out the window, he will think you are distracted and will ask you. Instead, act like you are busy writing on a paper or reading your own notes, so the teacher will think that you are engaged with the subject, but you are not available to answer at the moment.
You get to your first day of class, but the teacher doesn't like you. Do this to become his favorite student. Try asking questions about the subject, but be careful, you also don't want to be the annoying one in class. But there's a problem. You forgot to do your homework because you were playing on your phone. If the teacher asks you to correct it on the board, do not say that your dog ate it. Instead, apologize in front of the whole class. A teacher really hates dishonest students. But above all, never use your phone in the middle of the class, since it's very disrespectful. On the other hand, you'll want to talk to him outside of class so he sees you're very interested in his subject. Say hi in the hallways, ask questions during break, and tell him a joke to earn his trust. Finally, after class, ask him a question using Gmail. Don't forget to do your homework and subscribe to Bigdanbaby.
You get to your first day at school and you have no friends. Do this so you can be the popular in your class. Try to make your classmates laugh loud, but be careful since you don't want to be the clown of the class. However, there is a problem. The classmates don't know your name. When the teacher asks a question, get up first and solve the exercise on the blackboard. If you say your name in front of the whole class, no one will forget. On the other hand, you also want to know some things about them so that no one sees you like some stranger. During the recess, go quickly and try to talk with everyone, with the cools, the geeks, the class clowns. Finally, after your classes, sign up for all the extracurricular activities. Real friends are made both in and out of school.
The sticky grenade has a sticky substance on the exterior of the bomb. After pulling the pin, just like a normal grenade, throwing it releases the lever and activates the bomb. The grenade sticks to its target thanks to the sticky substance. This helps the bomb lock onto the enemy, leaving them no chance to escape the explosion. Some children started disappearing in a town. After interrogating the owner of a castle, they discovered that the children had been kidnapped by a famous knight who became obsessed with alchemy and black magic. He was accused of torturing and sacrificing over 200 children for his dark ritual. A servant said she saw hundreds of children's heads inside a secret room, and the carpets were made of human skin and hair. In the end, the first serial killer in history, Gilda was tortured and sentenced to be burned alive at the stake.
If you get stabbed with a really big knife, do not remove it unless it is really blocking an airway inside. The knife will help you not to lose your blood while sealing the wound. If you're chased by a poisonous snake, hit the ground hard with your feet. The vibrations of the floor will seem like the footsteps of a bear, and it'll get scared. If you're attacked by a shark, kick really hard its eyes and nose with your leg. That's their weakest spot, and you will buy time to escape. If you're completely trapped inside a mall with no electricity, look for colored crayons. They will burn easily and work as candles.
In 2001, a thief got stuck in a chimney while trying to rob a house, and the homeowner, unaware there was a thief, lit a big fire. The chimney quickly filled with black smoke and extreme heat. The thief started screaming and calling for help, but the fire and smoke grew so much that they drowned out the thief's cries for help. When the firefighters arrived at the crime scene, they found the thief's lifeless body inside the chimney.
If you have been kidnapped by a group of terrorists, do not act like you're dead. Terrorists always inspect the bodies and they will kill you. If you meet a lot of stray cats on the street and you think of giving them food, they will think you have unlimited food and follow you back home to stay with you forever. If you wake up with your mouth covered in drool, toss your toothpaste through the window. Your toothpaste has too much fluoride and it has already burned your throat. If a beggar asks for money, speak in another language. He will believe you're just a tourist and stop attacking you.
If the door of your house is open and you see stripes on the keyhole, lock the door from outside and call the police. A group of evil thieves is trapped inside your house. If you travel to a country in Europe, do not ask anyone where to find the tourist attractions. The criminals will think you're a tourist and will rob you. If you find a lot of large eggs in your house, quickly call the police. A big mother snake has invaded your house. If you're completely lost in the desert and you got nothing to eat, quickly search for brown worms in the sand. They have a lot of protein and are easy to find. If you're an idiot and you want a tattoo of your girlfriend's name, don't do it. When she leaves you, your next girlfriend will be angry. If you're being bullied, quickly go punch the leader. You're very likely to get beaten up hard, but they'll think you're very brave and they'll respect you. If you're in a pool and you see a child drowning, don't help him. The child will grab you, and if you don't swim, you will both drown. If you're a dirty guy and don't brush your teeth, go to the dentist as soon as possible. You've got bugs living in your mouth and you'll lose all your teeth at once.
Two boys wearing hoods walked up to the man's car. He rolled down the windows slightly and they asked him for a ride. But the man felt an overwhelming sense of dread, like something terrible would happen if he let them in. As he looked closer, he realized that their eyes were pitch black with no whites at all. He quickly drove away, leaving the boys behind. The man shared his experience online, and soon more people began to report similar sightings of eerie children with black eyes. But the police never managed to find them.
Two children with green skin mysteriously appeared in a village in England in the 12th century. The boy and the girl spoke an entirely unknown language, and they wore very strange clothing. They were confused, and the kind villagers offered them food, but the children could only eat green beans. The boy fell ill and eventually died, but the girl survived, and little by little, she managed to learn English. She explained that they came from a green city with no sun, called the land of St. Martin. However, this place does not exist, and the mystery of the green skin was never solved.
A farmer paints his cow with black and white stripes, mimicking the pattern of a zebra. It might seem ridiculous, but this pattern actually makes cows happier, helping them produce more milk. You see, the stripes help them blend in better with the environment, but they also confuse insects like mosquitoes, making them dizzy so they can't bite the cow. Scientists discovered that unhappy cows consistently produce less milk, and giving them this zebra-like pattern helps keep bugs away, which in turn increases milk production. If you're driving and a car starts following you, turn right 4 times. If it's still behind you, head to the nearest police station. If the ice in your drink doesn't float, don't drink it. It's very likely that it's been poisoned. If a guide dog starts barking at you but doesn't have an owner, follow it and call 911. You could save someone's life. If you're a man and a pregnancy test comes out positive when you pee on it, see a doctor immediately. It's very likely that you have cancer. If you're at the mall and someone drops money in front of you, don't pick it up. It might be someone recording an honesty test and you'll look ridiculous. If you're walking and see a grenade on the ground, don't try to throw it away. It might explode as soon as you pick it up. Instead, run away fast and hide, blocking your ears. If you're lost in the jungle and a monkey steals your stuff, don't try to fight it. Monkeys are extremely strong and it'll beat you up. Instead, try to trade your things for a banana. If you find a gas station with extremely low prices, don't stop to get gas. They've mixed it with oil to make it cheaper.
In 2014, a baby stuck a pencil up his nose and somehow pushed it through the nasal passage until he inserted it 7 centimeters into his brain. They took him immediately to the hospital, and the doctors had to extract it very carefully while trying not to cause more damage. But the pencil had magically managed to miss all the important nerves and blood vessels, and they were able to remove it without making any long-term damage.
You start reading a book, but you realize you're going slower than a snail. Do this to read 5 times faster than normal. You need to stop sub-vocalizing. Don't repeat the words in your head as you read along. You can listen to music or use your finger while reading to help. But most importantly, try to see the words as images. Let your eyes and not your brain scan the word. Let's put it to the test. If you're going to watch a Real Madrid match but your seat is in the middle of the Barcelona fans, wear a Barca jersey and don't cheer for Real Madrid or you might get seriously beaten up. If there's a fight in your neighborhood, don't just stand there doing nothing. Record a video with your phone and upload it to YouTube to get rich. If you're walking in the middle of the night and run into an alien, don't tell anyone. Everyone will think you've gone crazy and have you locked up in an asylum. If your house is full of fire, touch the doorknob before opening any doors. If it's hot, there's fire behind it, so look for another way out. A man got stuck in the middle of a water slide. When he heard someone quickly sliding down the slide behind him, he started screaming as they slid down the slide. But the man couldn't move and ended up getting slammed hard in the back. The strong impact caused him to lose consciousness and pass out. He eventually woke up next to the pool, with serious injuries to his head, back, and shoulders. The man eventually recovered but sued the water park for being stupid. In 1990, a pilot was blown out of the cockpit mid-flight, with only his legs keeping him from being completely ejected. The plane's windshield had mysteriously shattered, causing a sudden pressure drop in the cabin. A flight attendant managed to grab the pilot's legs while the co-pilot tried to slow down the plane's speed. His head kept hitting the roof of the plane, and the crew assumed he was already dead. Even so, they held onto his body to prevent it from being sucked out and possibly damaging one of the engines. 20 minutes later, the plane managed to land, and no one knows how the pilot actually survived.
If you're lost and have nothing to eat, do not try to hunt wild animals. They move very fast and you'll use up so much energy you'll die of exhaustion. If you see footprints outside your house, grab a rock before going inside. A murderer is waiting inside to kill you. If you're out walking at nighttime and someone calls you, do not turn. They are dangerous gang members looking for a fight. If you're an idiot and never make your bed, throw your mattress in the trash. It is full of dirty bugs that will rot your skin.
In 1820, a ship was suddenly attacked by a giant sperm whale. The whale struck multiple times, causing severe damage to the ship's structure. 2 hours later, the ship began to sink, and the entire crew abandoned the vessel by using small boats to escape. For months, they drifted across the ocean, slowly dying from hunger, thirst, and heat stroke, until one day they began eating each other like cannibals to survive. 90 days later, only 8 of the 20 crew members were eventually rescued. If your parents ask you to do something, do it so badly they'll never want to ask you again. They might punish you, but you won't have to do chores. If you're getting a cramp, raise your hand as hard as you can. That will get the blood flowing and the cramp will disappear. If you're studying for an important exam, chew gum while you do it. If you chew the same flavor of gum during the exam, you'll recall the answers more easily. If you're in a job interview and they ask about past work experience, buy a disposable phone and give them that number. When they call, you can speak very highly of yourself. If you're an idiot and you're vegan, don't go to the woods. If you get lost, you'll have to hunt to survive and you'll starve to death. If your friend is drunk but he wants to drive, steal his car keys. If he drunk drives, he'll run over a lot of people. If you're in a fire, don't breathe through your nose. The smoke will go into your lungs and you'll die from the toxic gas. If you're sick, get up and go exercise. If you sweat out enough fluid, you'll flush the virus from your body.
You suddenly travel back in time to ancient Rome. Do this to survive. First, if you try to live a normal life, everyone will realize you don't speak Latin and don't know how to behave like them. They would think you are crazy and would want to burn you at the stake. So you will choose someone from the crowd and challenge him to a duel to the death in the Colosseum. One day before the duel, you will grab a few ingredients and make a favorite food recipe. Easy, but extremely tasty for that time. When the time comes, you take out the dish and offer it to your rival. Since he will love the food, he will offer it to the boss. In this way, the Caesar will spare your life and you will be the new Caesar.
If you get off the subway but your backpack gets stuck in the door, don't waste time trying to pull it out. Focus on slipping out of the backpack or you'll be dragged to death. If you're at the movies and a thief is recording the film, don't yell at him. Instead, on your phone, show his seat number. That way, the thief's number will be recorded and the police can arrest him. If you're getting a haircut and feel a sneeze coming, be careful and don't move. If you make a sudden move, they could cut one of your ears. If you're buying a suit for your wedding, tell the salesperson that the suit is to work as a waiter and not for your wedding. It'll be cheaper because it isn't a wedding suit.
If you're lost in the mountain, look for plants and hide in a cave. If you start a fire, you won't freeze to death during the night. If you're going to school but you live in a dangerous neighborhood, put your book bag inside your shirt. Thieves will think you're fat and they won't rob you. If you're stupid and you're vegan, don't go to a barbecue with your friend. You won't be able to eat and you'll look ridiculous. If you're dying of thirst and find dirty water, look for bamboo sticks. If you filter the water through the hole of the canes, you'll have clean water.
If you live in a dangerous neighborhood, wear poor-looking clothes that are as dirty as possible. You will make the thieves pity you, and they won't rob you. If someone is looking at your phone, open the front camera. The nosy guy will see himself on the screen and will look ridiculous. If a murderer enters your house, turn off the lights and put a couple of pillows under the blanket. The murderer will think that you're sleeping, and you will catch him. If you see that your car has a broken window, don't go in and call the police. There is a homeless person living inside your car.
In 2018, a group of friends was exploring a cave in Thailand when suddenly the tunnels flooded with water and they became completely trapped. They were more than 3 kilometers underground and the flooding had filled the cave tunnels with contaminated water. 10 days later, a rescue team found them but faced many difficulties navigating through the tunnel. And tragically, one of the rescuers died during the mission. For this reason, they could not find a way to bring the children out safely. Their last option was to inject a sedative to make them sleep, put a diving mask on them, and carry their unconscious bodies through the tunnels one by one. The 12 children and their coach were successfully rescued after 18 days underground. The bus doors suddenly closed and trapped her backpack, but the driver didn't notice. The bus sped up, dragging her along the road. The girl tried to run to keep up with the speed of the bus, but she lost her balance and fell, being dragged along the asphalt for more than 300 meters. Another driver honked the horn to get the bus driver's attention. The girl suffered from serious injuries and burns all over her body and had to undergo several surgeries. The driver was fired and the parents sued him for being an idiot, but the girl managed to recover and walk again. When the Titanic hit the iceberg, several holes opened on one side of the ship, causing water to flood in. But the ship was designed with special compartments to hold large amounts of water in case of flooding, and if only 4 of those compartments were damaged, the ship could stay afloat. But the iceberg ruptured 6 of them in the front, and they began flooding with water rapidly. This caused the bow of the ship to sink into the sea, which made the rear part of the ship lift into the air. Finally, the middle section couldn't bear the weight and broke in half, and both halves of the ship sank to the bottom of the ocean.
If you see a service dog coming up to you, follow it immediately. It's asking for your help to save its owner's life. If a thief breaks into your home, don't turn the lights on or make any noise. You know your house better than he does, and you can attack him by surprise in the dark. If you start coughing, raise your arms above your head and count from 1 to 5. This will help clearing your lungs and will stop the coughing. If you wake up with a really strong headache, go and drink water as soon as possible. Your body got dehydrated overnight and your brain is trying to alert you.
How do you know what your dreams mean? If you dream of falling right before you wake up, it means that you have a lot of anxiety and your brain is trying to warn you. Dreaming about someone who has passed means you're still processing his loss and need to say goodbye to him. On the other hand, if you turn into an animal, it suggests that you should discover other parts of your personality. For example, transforming into a wolf means that you need to work on becoming more aggressive. Finally, when your teeth fall out in a dream, it suggests that you have many worries about your looks and hate looking in the mirror.
The parents of your rich friend invite you to sleep at their house. Do this so you don't look ridiculous. Bow down to say hello. Leave your shoes outside before you go in and don't take photos or ask the price of any luxurious object. If you break something by mistake, don't hide it. It is very likely that they have security cameras all over the house. On the other hand, if you need anything, ask the butler for it and never the parents, because it's considered disrespectful. However, you're confused because in the bathroom you find too many towels. Remember, if they are bigger, it's better. Use the smallest towel to wash your hands, the medium one to dry your face, and the large one for your whole body. Finally, never open the windows after 12 o'clock. It is very likely that you will activate an alarm system and get everyone out of bed.
If your hand starts moving on its own and tries to choke you, it's very likely that you have a disease known as alien hand syndrome. This rare disorder happens when the part of your brain that connects both hemispheres is damaged. This causes the nerves in your hand to activate involuntarily, causing it to move on its own. And although choking yourself is very rare, your alien hand can perform random tasks without your permission. Abandoned in the cold, she crawled into a doghouse looking for warmth and ended up living there for 5 years. During that time, she learned to bark, growl, and walk on all fours, just like her canine companion. When they tried to rescue her, the girl had lost the ability to speak, and she ate like a dog. She licked herself and even breathed with her tongue out. The authorities had many difficulties rescuing her because the dogs protected her fiercely, but in the end, they distracted them using food as bait. They tried to reintegrate her into society, but she kept acting like a dog. If you give such a bad presentation that you think you're going to fail, end by saying it was an experiment about the most common mistakes students make, the teacher will think it was very realistic and give you a perfect grade. If you arrive late to class but don't have an excuse, say that a distant aunt has died. The teacher will feel sorry for you and let you in without asking questions. If you want your parents to stop looking at your phone, learn a second language and change the language on your phone. Even if your parents spy on you, they won't understand anything. If your rich friend's parents invite you to a fancy restaurant but you don't know what to order, tell the waiter to bring you the house specialty. Even if you don't like it, you'll sound very elegant.
A man pulled out a small gun and aimed it at the back of Abraham Lincoln's head, but he waited until there was a lot of noise in the theater before pulling the trigger. After shooting, he jumped down, breaking his leg as he landed, but even with his wound, he got away from the theater on a horse while he was being chased by hundreds of people. He stayed hidden for over 12 days until he was discovered and murdered on a farm.
A woman on her bike was crossing a drawbridge when suddenly it started moving to open. As the gap widened, she became trapped between the sections. She clung onto a street lamp while she called for help, but the bridge kept moving. One man rushed to grab her, but couldn't hold on because he was too overweight. Finally, her hand slipped and she fell into the hole to her death. The operator of the bridge later confessed that he hadn't checked the walkway before raising the bridge. If you're at school and you see some bullies harassing some little kid, don't help him because they will beat you up. Instead, record a video for YouTube and the police will send them to jail. If you're lost in the ocean, don't drink seawater. You'll vomit and instantly dehydrate. If you've been abducted by a group of terrorists, hide your designer clothes and luxury items. If they realize that you're a rich kid, they will call your family and demand a huge ransom. If you're fat and can't lose weight, eat a lot of fruit. You'll fill your belly very fast and you won't feel hungry. A town in the United States started to notice a strange smell in the 1970s. The water had a bitter taste and people started getting sick. But what they didn't know was that their homes had been built on top of a toxic waste dump. Decades before the town was built, 20,000 tons of chemical waste had been buried underground by a nuclear laboratory. When construction of the town began, the waste started seeping into basements, gardens, and the water supply. The disaster led to the urgent evacuation of the entire neighborhood, and many families suffered long-term health effects. If you win the lottery, don't buy luxury clothes or cars. Everyone will suspect you have a lot of money and thieves will steal from you. If a construction building mysteriously appears in your neighborhood out of nowhere, check if the workers are wearing construction clothes and carrying tools. They are probably building a giant bomb to blow up your neighborhood. If you're driving and fall into a lake, don't waste time trying to open the door. It's impossible due to the water pressure. Instead, lower the window and swim out. If you're lost in the middle of the ocean and catch a sunfish, do not eat it. It has such a strong venom that it'll kill you instantly. The water began to recede rapidly, leaving the sea floor visible. People were confused and started to realize the huge wave approaching the shore. It was a giant tsunami caused by an underwater earthquake. As the wave approached, it grew in height, reaching 30 meters in several areas. It swept through the city with enormous force, destroying everything around it. The wave wiped out entire neighborhoods, leaving only rubble and destruction. More than 160,700 people lost their lives in this region alone. If a bull starts chasing you, most people would try to run away, but bulls can run much faster than humans in a straight line. Instead, jump to one side to get out of the bull's path. If it keeps attacking, try running in a zigzag to confuse it. If you find a big object like a tree, use it as a shield between you and the bull. If it hits you with its horns, stay completely still on the ground without moving. Bulls usually chase movement, so consequently, playing dead can help the bull get bored of you. If you feel like you're about to faint, clench your fist tightly and squeeze hard. That forces blood to circulate through your body and you won't faint. Never try to repair a microwave by yourself. Even if it's unplugged, your microwave can still hold enough radiation to kill you. If you're at a party and the ice in your drink isn't floating, get out of there fast. Someone has spiked your drink and you're in danger. If you see black spots on the wall of your house, call the fire department. It's a toxic mold and the spores could kill you.
You work at McDonald's to save money, but the government takes a portion of your salary. How do taxes work? Each month, you earn $800, but your boss doesn't give you $800. He gives you $700 in a paycheck, and he pays the government $100 in taxes in your name. When the year ends, the government checks if you've paid enough taxes using a form. In it, you can claim deductions to reduce the percentage of taxes, and request credits that directly lower your taxes. If your boss paid too much in your name, the government gives you extra money back. If your boss paid too little, the government makes you pay the remaining amount.
If you're an idiot and fall asleep on the bus, hug your backpack while you sleep. Thieves won't be able to steal from you. If you're walking down the street and a thief tries to rob you, act crazy and shout words in Chinese very loudly. If the thief thinks you're completely insane, he'll get the fright of his life. If you wake up and your mouth is full of drool, throw your toothpaste in the trash. Your toothpaste has too much fluoride and it has burned your throat. If you walk into your house and there are thieves stealing, lock the door completely and burn the house. If the thieves escape, the police will only need to look for suspects with burns on their skin. If you accidentally break a beehive, try whistling really loudly. They'll think you're their friend and won't sting you.
You start reading a book, but you realize you're going slower than a snail. Do this to read 5 times faster than normal. You need to stop sub-vocalizing. Don't repeat the words in your head as you read along. You can listen to music or use your finger while reading to help. But most importantly, try to see the words as images. Let your eyes and not your brain scan the word. Let's put it to the test. If you're going to watch a Real Madrid match but your seat is in the middle of the Barcelona fans, wear a Barca jersey and don't cheer for Real Madrid or you might get seriously beaten up. If there's a fight in your neighborhood, don't just stand there doing nothing. Record a video with your phone and upload it to YouTube to get rich. If you're walking in the middle of the night and run into an alien, don't tell anyone. Everyone will think you've gone crazy and have you locked up in an asylum. If your house is full of fire, touch the doorknob before opening any doors. If it's hot, there's fire behind it, so look for another way out. A man got stuck in the middle of a water slide. When he heard someone quickly sliding down the slide behind him, he started screaming as they slid down the slide. But the man couldn't move and ended up getting slammed hard in the back. The strong impact caused him to lose consciousness and pass out. He eventually woke up next to the pool, with serious injuries to his head, back, and shoulders. The man eventually recovered but sued the water park for being stupid. In 1990, a pilot was blown out of the cockpit mid-flight, with only his legs keeping him from being completely ejected. The plane's windshield had mysteriously shattered, causing a sudden pressure drop in the cabin. A flight attendant managed to grab the pilot's legs while the co-pilot tried to slow down the plane's speed. His head kept hitting the roof of the plane, and the crew assumed he was already dead. Even so, they held onto his body to prevent it from being sucked out and possibly damaging one of the engines. 20 minutes later, the plane managed to land, and no one knows how the pilot actually survived. If you have to cross a frozen river, drop to the ground and crawl like a worm. If you run across, the ice will break, and you could die from hypothermia. If you've been kidnapped by a group of terrorists, don't play dead. Terrorists always check the bodies and they will kill you. If you plan to put on dirty clothes but they don't smell bad, don't do it. Your nose has gotten used to the bad smell and it can't detect the stench, but you're still gross. Even if you're dying of thirst, never drink your own urine. If bacteria enter your stomach, you could die from poisoning. Instead, find a cactus and drink carefully. If you get sent money from a stranger and they say it was a mistake, don't send it back. It's a trick scammers use to launder dirty money. If you shoot a bullet at a suit of ancient armor, most people think it could completely stop the impact. But armor, similar to chainmail, was designed to block major sword slashes, and steel armor was even better at slowing down blunt hits, by distributing the force of the impact over a large area, reducing the blow. But these materials were not very good at stopping arrows, which had more than enough force to break through the armor, so a bullet would have no problem going straight through it.
If you see red mushrooms in the woods, analyze if they look like umbrellas. Even if Super Mario eats and grows bigger, you'll get killed by the poison and die. If someone tries to choke you using a plastic bag, do not breathe and expel all the air at once to inflate the bag. If you bite it, it will pop like a balloon and you can breathe. If you are starving to death, look for trees with soft and moist leaves. If you suck them, you'll gain energy, but they won't kill you. If you've been kidnapped, pee on yourself all the time. The kidnappers will get tired of the bad smell and they'll set you free.
If you've been kidnapped and the criminals want to use your credit card, tell them the card has no money but that you have a better card at home. If they take you to your house, you will have a chance to escape. If you're at the beach and want to swim in the sea, put your things in a bag and bury it in the sand. Thieves won't be able to find your belongings and won't rob you. If you take a taxi or an Uber, open Google Maps on your phone to compare the route. The driver will take a longer route to charge you more money. If you're trapped in an elevator, mark the wall every time you sleep. If the rescue takes a long time, the marks will tell you how many days you've been there.
Imagine you rob a bank and get a huge amount of money, but you have a big problem. You can't spend that money because the police will ask you where you obtained it. Since dirty bills must be laundered before spending them, this is what you must do. You open a small hamburger stand and sell some real burgers, but every day you will lie about how many burgers you have sold. Each day you will say that you sell 50 burgers, even though in reality you only sell one. Now you add all the stolen money pretending it comes from your business. If someone asks you where you got the money, you tell them it came from your business and show the fake evidence. But if you're an idiot, sooner or later the police will notice that the numbers don't match and they'll lock you up for money laundering. If you could know everything in the world, at first it would be incredible. Just by thinking about it, you'd know every secret and every hidden truth. No one could lie to you. You'd know every answer before they even ask you. You'd discover betrayals from loved ones and what everyone really thinks of you. You'd know when your friends, your parents, and even you yourself would die. Sleeping would be impossible. The voices, the data, everyone's thoughts would haunt you day and night. You would go crazy and be unable to endure so much knowledge. You would have to clear your mind and meditate so you wouldn't die from a heart attack. One day you'd think about how to use your power, and you'd reveal secrets that would change governments, expose corrupt politicians, and prevent wars. Everyone would be afraid of you, but they would also love you. You'd become a hero and a villain at the same time, building a world in balance. If you're lost in the forest, follow these 5 rules to survive. First, don't move. The rescue team will only look for you where you were last seen, not where you might have gone. Second, look for water. You can survive 3 weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. But before drinking it, you have to filter it. Fold your t-shirt 4 times and pour the water through it. This way you'll eliminate dirt, bugs, and bacteria. Third, signal SOS. Make 3 signals of anything repeatedly. 3 flashlight flashes, 3 loud whistles, or even 3 fires. Fourth, build a shelter. Use branches, stones, and bushes. Put it all together, and above all, make sure the roof doesn't fall down. Finally, make a fire. Rub a stick repeatedly against dry leaves on top of a log. When smoke comes out, blow on it while you keep rubbing. Fire is useful for warming up boiling water and, most importantly, attracting the attention of rescuers.